Welcome to Visions of BVA. In this episode, we are at the 2024 Blinded Veterans Association Conference in Jacksonville, Florida, discussing the crucial work of Veteran Service Officers, VSOs. Join us as we talk with Duayne Driscoll, Scott Quinlan, and Vernon Humphrey about how they assist blind veterans in navigating the VA system and securing the benefits they deserve. Hear their inspiring stories of dedication and resilience in serving our nation's heroes.
Duayne, can you just introduce yourself real quick and what you do?
Sure. I'm Duayne Driscoll. I'm the National Service Director for Blinded Veterans Association. So I oversee our Veteran Service Program, which assists blinded veterans with getting VA disability compensation and pension benefits, and that's our specialty. I also train our National Service Officers to do the same thing. And we really have something kind of special going on here because we have some blind service officers that are learning how to navigate VA systems. We do everything electronically, and things are, working out really well.
Absolutely. And so we're at the 2024 Blinded Veterans Association Conference in Jacksonville, Florida. How has it been on the ground here?
Well, we've been busy. We have a national service office set up here in the hotel. So we've been seeing our clients, veterans, members of BVA for claim status. We've taken some new POAs. We've filed some claims, and we've done a lot of status checks. So we've been here actually meeting with everybody in person, which is a little different from what we do in our day-to-day. We do normally do everything, over the phone or in Teams or over, electronically by some means. So, we're strictly electronic. We don't print any piece of paper, so we're not set up for paper, and things. We have a database that actually generates the forms that we need to submit and then submits them directly to the VA through an API. So when we file a claim or take a POA, we get it, sign it electronically on the veteran's iPhone or touchscreen, iPad, something like that. And once it's signed and we hit submit, it goes straight to the VA, and the VA has it within moments. And then it gets placed in the claims file. So we've really streamlined the claims process, and I'm pretty happy with it.
It's important work you do, and you guys are like unsung heroes, I think. And I'm happy to be here to just get a few words from you.
Thanks.
I mean, it's very purposeful work, I would think, or meaningful work. Why do you do it, or why did you fall into it?
No doubt about that. I was in the Navy, and from 1984 to 1986, and I was on a landing ship docking LSD. So I fell off the crane into the well deck, which is about 40 feet, and I had some pretty severe injuries, and they put me out. So I became a disabled veteran in 1986 and filed my first claim with the VA for disability compensation benefits. And now, mind you, I had all these broken bones, plates, screws. I got plates and screws in my hip, plates and screws in my humerus. So I had some really serious fractures and some really serious problems. But when I filed my claim, the VA really lowballed me on my VA disability compensation. In fact, I was 0% or 10% for the first 5 or 6 years I got out. And I'm still mad about that. But I get my revenge every day because I get to help somebody else navigate the system and get the benefits that they're entitled to.
That's awesome. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know it's the end of the day. You guys have been working around the clock really hard, and I just appreciate you sharing a little bit about what you do and what's been going on here at the convention.
Thanks, Stephen. Anytime.
Hey, man, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Can you just introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Scott Quinlan. I'm an NSO with the Blinded Veterans Association.
What is an NSO?
That's a National Service Officer, and what I do claims for veterans for the VA. And it's quite an intricate process. I'm new to this. Well, can't say I'm really new. Back in 2013, I was hired by the BVA to be a service officer. But yet back then, I really didn't get any kind of formal training except for at convention. But now, hired on last year in July, and it's just amazing. Duayne trains us every day. We do about an hour training at least every day. And what I picked up in the last year is it's immense. And I'm so proud to be serving our veterans and getting them service connection. Me, myself, right now, I'm 0% service connected, but we're working on that as well. And I'm just looking forward to keep on working with our blind veterans.
No, most definitely, man. People, like I was telling Duayne, it seems as though you guys are unsung heroes. There's so much the BVA does in different ways. I mean, this convention that we're at is meaningful to me because it's where you're mentored. You know, you have shared experiences and people learn a lot from each other. But at the same time, you guys are here in the office, you know, on the front lines, working hard, trying to get people what they deserve. So maybe you want to talk a little bit about your backstory, just briefly?
Yeah, no problem. I lost my sight 18 years ago to diabetic retinopathy. And since that point, when I went to the blind rehab back in 2007, I started working with veterans there because prior to me losing my sight, I was a flight mechanic for 18 years. And during that 18 years, it never failed. You pulled your flashlight out, either the batteries are dead or very low. So you were very tactile while working on the aircraft. And with the aircraft, you could not always see anything anyway. So you're putting your hands through the holes in the aircraft, which are called lightning holes. And you're reaching in, grabbing each end of the bolt and unscrewing or hooking up wires. So it really taught me to be very tactile. So that translated over to blindness. When I became blind, all my tactile skills were I was on top of things. And, and I've just progressed. And when I was working with the veterans then, I was having a blast. And when I left Palo Alto, I decided, I'm going to go back to school. So I went back to school. I got my 2-year degree. I said, well, I don't want to stop here. Went back, attended Cal State Long Beach, finished that with my psychology degree, and was top 10% of my class. I graduated with a 3.83 grade point average, and then I didn't want to stop there. I really enjoyed higher learning, so I went on for my master's, and I finished that with a 4.0, one of the ones at the top of the class. And then I became a licensed master's social worker. So, and I just, and I went from psychology to social work for the simple reason of psychologists work with one person at a time. And as a social worker, you can work with groups of people like the blinded veterans. And, it just multiplied from there. And like I said, like I told you a little while ago, I just love working this job. I mean, working for our executive director, Don Overton, and Duayne Driscoll. These guys are rock stars. And, of course, who can forget Marlene Davis Lilly? I mean, she is Superwoman. And between her and Duayne, I've learned so much. And I just want to pass that on to the blinded veterans and get them their claims expedited and completed, and where we can get them all service connected. Whenever we can, because, not everything is service connectable. And if I could say anything to the blinded veterans out there, don't try and do your claims. Bring them to us. That's what we're here for. We're free of charge, and we're willing to work with you guys. And I just love the job. I'm very passionate.
It's great advice, man. I truly appreciate it. You can definitely tell you're a passionate, driven, motivated person, and if I could say anything about that, we need people like that in these kinds of positions, especially you share the same experience as other fellow blind veterans and veterans in general. So I thank you for your words, and this won't be the last time I probably talk with you, man, but I hope you have a great rest of the convention. This is our last day. It's pretty much over, but thanks for everything you do, man.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Have a good one.
I'm here with Vern. Hey, Vern, could you just, your full name, just introduce yourself.
I am Vernon Humphrey. I have a PhD in communication studies, and I am the National Program Coordinator for the Blinded Veterans Association.
How long have you been doing it, Vern?
I started in May, so 2 months. Yeah.
What do you think of this type of work?
I have been trying to get my foot in this door for years. I love working with blind veterans and helping them, and I like being out in public and people seeing that blindness is not, to me, it's not a disability, it's an inconvenience. And I like being out showing people, hey, blind people can do this. And as the National Program Coordinator, I'm in charge of their Ambassador Program, which is a 15-week training course.
Sorry, I missed you.
For my
You want this to work
for any of our members that want to get involved in it. And we start out with history of the BVA, and we talk about history of the VA, but then we get into benefits, and we get into VA rules and the difference between a clinic and a hospital or a VRC and a can't think of the word now.
No.
It allows them to understand how all of this works, so they can be better educated to help others find Duayne and Scott and Meredith and to get their benefits straight and know what their rights are. And then we also have classes that are for suicide prevention and self-care in the Ambassador Program, because if you get out there and you're helping other people, you got to take care of yourself as well. So those are the types of programs the Ambassador Program has. I also run the Vet Tech program, which is once a week. We have a tech Zoom. By the way, the Ambassador meeting is Zoom as well. We have a Zoom meeting, and I might have the Sparrow or Cam come in and give us a lecture about or discussion about their new equipment or something that their equipment can do that a lot of people don't know. And so it's about 30 minutes, tell us about it, and about 30 minutes us asking questions. But it doesn't have to be super high tech. We had a blind lady that cooks, and she talked about cooking as a blind person. How what's the best way to do this, or how do you measure a quarter teaspoon and carry it across the room, when it's full of water, and so her little trick was put in a cup and then take the cup over there and dip it out, pour it in there, and pour the rest out. So but so just so they can learn different technical things and ways to enhance their life and their freedom. I'm also the CDCE rep, which is the Center for Development and Civic Engagement, the Veterans Administration entity, and they get together, they get all the people that have volunteers for the VA and try to coordinate things and find out where the problems are and the hiccups are. And they said, last time I went to a meeting, they said, we need more volunteers. And I raised my hand and I stood up. I said, I'm Vernon Humphrey from the Blinded Veterans Association. And I've got about 80 blind veterans that are willing to volunteer. But when they volunteer, they say, what can a blind person do? And I'll tell you all right now, we can do any damn thing you can do. And I said it just like that, except for, because the DAV was there at my table. I said, we don't drive, so we can't help you with driving.
Check it in there.
And I'm also a representative for the, there's a blindness research grant that's operated out of Mississippi State. And because of my background in academics, they asked me to be the liaison between us and them. So I have that on my plate. And there's a few more things that they're talking about throwing at me, like visits to the different BRCs to make sure that they are compliant and things like that. So it's an exciting time for me. Like I said, I've been trying to get into this for years, and I'd love working with blind veterans and making sure they get what they deserve. And I started out working part-time, and I was learning the NSO stuff from Scott and Duayne and Marlene, excuse me. And then this opportunity came up, so I don't get to go down that route, but I still catch some of their training, so I understand better, so I can teach better.
Well, I appreciate you sharing some information about who you are and what you do. It's meaningful. I'm sure, just like I feel, serving in the military is. So serving other people, especially those who have lost something, and giving back to them in this way where you are providing them really a source of income sometimes that allows them to live life.
Yeah.
And that's a remarkable thing and a remarkable feeling, I'm sure, when you guys can make it happen.
Oh, it is. It's wonderful to see somebody's eyes light up because they got the benefits that they deserve, and now they can afford to buy 3 meals a day instead of 2 or 1. And then as far as the ambassador thing goes, and I'm helping, my ambassadors are helping them to understand and get to the program. So there's a lot of people out there to get helped that I don't even know about, because my ambassadors, I have about 55 active ambassadors that are they're in medical centers and VRCs. We have a program called Buddy Check where we call to check on people, and their lives are getting touched by these 50 people that I help train. So it's amazing to me how far it can spread. But that's the thing about basically my mom always said we're here to help one another. And if we're not helping each other, then something's wrong. So if we got each person's helping somebody else, then the net's going to go wider and wider, and the veterans are going to get the benefits they deserve. Some are going to get the opportunity to go to work like I did and get a paycheck, because a lot of them don't want to be on disability. A lot of them, I don't want to be on retirement and disability. I want to work. And so then we have to, we run into these corporate theories, like I said, the people at the VA, what can a blind person do? So we're banding together and raising awareness on who we are, what we can do. And if you want somebody to work their butt off for you, find a blind veteran, because they've got veterans generally have the stick-to-itiveness and the mission completion. I'm going to do this job. So,
Vern, I appreciate the wise words and everything you shared. Thank you so much. I hope you have a good rest of the day.
I appreciate that. I plan on it.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Visions of BVA. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and found it insightful. If you like what you heard, please consider subscribing to our podcast and leaving a rating or review on your favorite platform. Your feedback helps us reach more listeners and improve our show. Don't forget to follow us on social media for updates and behind-the-scenes content. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions for future episodes. Stay connected, stay informed, and we'll see you next time on Visions of BVA. This is Steve Baskis, signing off.
You're listening to a BVA production.